Copy. Seven flight open. Seven six flight.
Maybe 10. Fortunately, he's headed towards the airport. That helps. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to pit one of their own vehicles. That'd be great. Kind of hard to tell, but. You're breaking up for some reason. Say again. Okay, copy that. Should we report then? All right. Well, folks, if you just joined us here, we have a patient who stole a patrol car, LA County Sheriff Patrol vehicle. I believe push in that was a sheriff, right, Kevin? And this started at Olive View Hospital. A patient there, probably in the psychiatric unit, stole the vehicle and has led police, sheriff's deputies on a pursuit northbound on the 14 up into Santa Clarita, then turning around, coming back southbound, down back into the San Fernando Valley on Balboa. We're still, I believe, on Balboa southbound, headed down towards probably Nordoff here and down towards Van Nuys Airport. You know, we haven't seen extremely high speeds. You see the lead vehicle there. That's the vehicle that was stolen. Not very often you see a patrol car being pursued by other patrol cars. We don't know if they might try a pit maneuver. The speeds look a little too high for that at this point in time, but this is about the highest speeds we've seen so far in this pursuit. And it's been challenging for us because there's a lot of low clouds and fog. The conditions in some areas even a little slick. We're getting a light rain in portions of the San Fernando Valley. This could be a pit maneuver if he comes around and tries to block this individual here, but they've been a little more aggressive in the last couple of moments, just getting the vehicle now to turn off of Woodley. There's actually on Woodley headed eastbound. I think this might be Parthenia. We'll try and get you some exact streets. Eastbound, I believe, on Parthenia, away from Woodley. So we'd be in the Granada Hills, Mission Hills area. See traffic stopped coming eastbound there. The vehicle is actually westbound now, headed back towards possibly Balboa, which was on at one point in time coming southbound, then on to Rinaldi, then down on Woodley, and now headed back to the west. And it looks like sheriff's deputies are being a lot more aggressive. It looks like they want to stop this now. We haven't seen them get that close to the vehicle since we picked this up. The speeds look to be a little higher than the speed limit, but certainly very dangerous. And it looks like they may try the pit maneuver here. We haven't seen it yet, but if the individual, we believe it's a man, we don't have much information on the suspect at this point in time. But if that patrol car tries to move in front of him here, he may just try and slide over and stop him from being able to continue and then move over and hit the vehicle. But it looks like they're not willing to get that aggressive, and the speeds are too high for the pit maneuver at the moment. Now, if the suspect would make a turn and slow down and it was safe, then the sheriff's deputies would do the pit maneuver and just try and get the vehicle to swerve. But this is a pretty aggressive move right here by the sheriff's department, so they do want this to stop. Like I said, we don't know much about the suspect himself. We believe it's a man. There may be a weapon inside the vehicle. More than likely there is. A lot of times, though, they are locked, so whether or not it can just grab the shotgun that is sometimes in the middle of the vehicle or not is unclear at this point in time. But that would be a concern that they would have to take into consideration as well. So it looks like we are now, it's so difficult to keep the headings here because we're fighting the fog, and you will see it come in and out of our shot. But I believe the vehicle may be back southbound and still in that Granada Hills area, traveling at a pretty good clip now. And you see as we lose this, it's because we're fighting Van Nuys Airport as far as where we can fly, and we're also fighting the low clouds and the fog that we have to deal with this morning. See our skid go through the shot. So this is pretty challenging for everybody, but here's a situation where they tried to block him off. He went into oncoming traffic. So now we're looking, I believe that the vehicle is traveling on Roscoe, headed eastbound, went into oncoming traffic, and now is still heading back to the east. So the suspect does not want to stop, and even under conditions that are dangerous, the suspect just continues to go, continues on. I'm trying to look out and see if I can't get the exact street that he's on. It's actually southbound on Balboa now, just coming up, passing Parthenia. We'll be coming up on Roscoe here in just a moment. And this may be an opportunity for a sheriff's deputy to stop this pursuit. We're fortunately getting into a little better weather conditions, but you see there, going into the left turn lane, southbound on Balboa. I believe that this intersection right here is going to be Nordoff, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, that one's Parthenia. Going through the intersection with multiple patrol cars behind, they may be able to put out a spike strip if the suspect stays on one street for a long enough period of time, and they're able to get into position to do so. But we're southbound on Balboa. The next major intersection that the vehicle will hit here, the patrol car that has been stolen, will be Roscoe, and you can see the windshield wipers are going. It gives you an idea that we do have some light rain in the area, and we're right next to Van Nuys Airport. Once again, the suspect coming up on stop traffic at the intersection of Balboa and Roscoe, and then swerving in and out of traffic. So, and also getting some information that is pretty critical is that the suspect has the ability, they believe, to listen to the police radios. Up onto the curb here, trying to get through some traffic, coming up onto Roscoe, and that may be helping the suspect as far as him being able to anticipate what the police are doing. So now we're looking at a vehicle that is turned westbound on Roscoe off of Balboa, with the patrol cars right behind. But for a moment there, you saw the suspect get up onto the curb, go into a little strip mall, then right back out instead of going through a very busy intersection. Now we've got some fairly slow traffic probably coming up ahead. On Roscoe, headed eastbound, we just left Balboa, so we'll come up on White Oak here in a moment. Looks like for the most part, though, as I look up ahead, we've got decent weather conditions for us. But we don't. It looks like that rain was more to the east of us, and the vehicle is traveling westbound. We are looking at fuel considerations, though, on how long we can actually stay over this pursuit. So we're going to have to break off probably within the next 5 minutes or so, and we'll see what police do to try and maneuver around this individual. See, the window is down now. It does appear to be a man. There is some movement inside the vehicle. We understand listening to the scanners, that's making it challenging for the Sheriff's Department, although they may be able to switch to a different channel than will be coming up on that vehicle, so they can probably get around that. But here we go, pretty aggressive move once again from the LA County Sheriff's Department to get in front of him. It looks like he's not going to ram the vehicle, a patrol car right behind, backing up towards that car. Boy, this is dangerous, because if he does ram a vehicle or rams, they could open fire. They fired shots. I'm not sure if the suspect has been hit, but the rear window has been shot out of that vehicle. LA County Sheriff's deputy felt that he was in danger. He fired shots at the suspect, and from what we can tell, more shots have possibly been fired there. I'm not sure where that came from or if that was a suspect actually shooting out of the vehicle, because I don't see another patrol car. But if the suspect was struck with that gunfire, he seems to be continuing on and driving okay. But we saw several shots fired from the LA County Sheriff's deputy, and then saw more sparks, what appeared to be like gunfire, coming out of the vehicle or being shot at the vehicle. I couldn't tell. I don't know if that might have been the suspect firing back. So that was some extremely dangerous activity there, and a frightening situation with people that were around. Nobody injured, nobody hit, according to LA County Sheriff's deputy initially, from those shots that were fired. That's the information that we're getting. So while we are looking at a situation here that is extremely dangerous and very critical. I'm trying to pick this up. I believe we're southbound on White Oak as they made that turn away from Roscoe. And we'll be able to tell here in just a moment what street that is. Yes, that is White Oak. That may be Havenhurst that he just crossed. We're on the west side of Van Nuys Airport. And, well, my goodness, they tried to stop that vehicle. And when the vehicle rammed a patrol car, if you weren't with us just a moment ago, when the vehicle took off, an LA County Sheriff's deputy took several shots at the suspect, shooting out the back window, but not hitting the suspect. Then there was another incident. I couldn't tell exactly what happened, if more shots were fired, or possibly the suspect shot back. It's just not clear to me. I can ask my cameraman, Kevin, did you see the other sparks coming out of the vehicle after the initial shooting? He did as well. He couldn't tell where they're coming from. That may have come from the suspect firing shots. I'm just not certain. And that just gives this a whole new dimension, the dynamics of this now. If that is the case, and you have a suspect that fired back at officers after ramming the sheriff, then we have a situation here that is critical and is dangerous to the public at large. So we are on a major street, White Oak, southbound in Van Nuys. I believe we've already crossed Roscoe, then we crossed Havenhurst. Now we're southbound. We may be coming up on Van Owen, and you can see a pretty good look at the suspect right now with our camera because the window has been shot out, and it's just amazing that suspect was not hit. You see him looking up in the air at the helicopters, talking to himself or possibly someone else as he have a phone on Bluetooth, being able, we believe, to hear the police scanners and listen into what their strategy may be, although I believe they would switch frequencies, go to a frequency that this individual does not have. But an extremely dangerous situation in the streets of the San Fernando Valley, possibly shots fired from the suspect out of that car. That's not clear, but certainly shots were fired from the LA County Sheriff's deputy towards the suspect, shooting out the rear window, maybe even the front window, but incredibly missing the suspect at this time. Now, this all started 30, 40 minutes ago, maybe even a little longer, with this individual, a patient we believe at Olive View, so more than likely a mental health suspect, who stole the LA County Sheriff's vehicle. Now he stopped. He's come to his senses, if there is such a thing, putting his hands behind his back, knowing the drill, getting outside of the vehicle. It looks like right now we will have LA County Sheriff's deputies coming up behind him. Guns are drawn. He's cooperating with police. They're putting his knees. He's down on his knees. They will clear the vehicle to make sure nobody else is inside. And then they were going to go ahead and arrest this individual. And this pursuit has come to an end. So considering how extremely dangerous this pursuit was, shots were fired at the suspect, possibly shots fired out of the vehicle. We're not clear about that. No one was hurt. We don't believe that any vehicles were hit besides the LA County Sheriff's vehicle when that vehicle was rammed by the suspect. This could have been much, much worse, so we are happy to be able to report that no one was hurt, not even the suspect in this case, even though shots were fired at him. No LA County Sheriff's deputies, we believe, were hurt, even though there was a minor collision where the suspect rammed his vehicle into one of the LA County Sheriff's cars. He backed up into it, and we can tell right now that for the most part, this pursuit is over. That a patient, we believe, at Olive View, and extremely difficult pursuit for us to cover. As we had to work with the Sheriff's Department, the other helicopters up north where we had some pretty bad weather. At some point it was in a little bit of rain. This is all ending on White Oak, southbound. Can you give me that cross street right there? At Kittredge. So we are in the Van Nuys area. It looks like White Oak, southbound at Kittredge will be shut down for a bit. Some damage to some of the patrol cars. Certainly could have been a lot worse. So we're happy to report at this time as far as we know, that no one was injured, and it does appear now that possibly the suspect had a gunshot wound to the left shoulder. Didn't see a lot of blood there, but that's a report that we are getting from the LA County Sheriff's Department. Possibly the suspect was grazed. The suspect did give up, did pull over eventually, but there were some extremely tense moments, there's no question about that, as this pursuit continued on through the surface streets in the San Fernando Valley. But it's we're happy to report now that no one was injured, and we are going in to get some fuel. So thanks for staying with us, allowing us to bring you this story. It was tense, boy, extremely tense for some moments there when shots were fired at the suspect. But besides a possible injury to the suspect, a gunshot wound to the shoulder, we don't believe that anyone was hurt. So that's certainly good news, considering the possibility for injury or even death in these types of situations. We've seen it before. So we're back to Van Nuys for Fuel. Once again, thanks for staying with us on Facebook or on social media. We appreciate that. All right, boy, good timing, man. We're on fumes.